we head for the test track and take a look at a company developing hybrid race technologies for use on the road.
Hybrid technology is a fashionable phrase at the moment, with F1 introducing the new Corsa system for the 2009 season. Having developed the technology for over a decade, Zytec has now broken new ground by teaming up with the US race team Corsa Motorsport to run a new hybrid V8 engine in the American Le Mans series.
Steve Pruitt, the owner of Corsa Motorsport, he actually contacted us about a year and a half ago and said that he would like to get involved in sports car prototype racing, and obviously knew of Zytec's expertise and the technology we had available in hybrids, and it had its first demonstration run at Utah. A lot of people were certainly impressed with it, and hopefully that's going to be able to move forward, and we're going to be able to do a full racing program in the ALMS.
It's quite possibly the most sophisticated car on the planet, because this car can run as an internal combustion car, it can run as a gas-electric hybrid, and it can run as a pure EV. And I don't know many cars on the planet that can do that, at least at this level of technology.
The team decided to try out the electric power supply in testing at the Utah event, but relies solely on conventional power in the race. It's still early days, but the test proved there is a solid future for the technology.
There's two elements to this. There's the competition element where we want to go out and win, which is obviously very tough at this stage because it's so new. And there's a technical element where we want to move the whole system forward so that it can benefit us in the long run, not just in competition, but also benefit other people in terms of road car technology and everything else, which is ultimately what this is all about.
The Ginetta Zytec 09HS might be eye-catching to behold, but it's the technology under the hood that's really making waves.
This is what we call a parallel hybrid system. So that means that there's an electric motor that runs alongside a conventional internal combustion engine, and we make a decision whether to use the electric motor to assist the engine or to take power away from the engine and basically charge a battery. This is a battery which stores the energy. This power electronics unit basically converts the energy from a form that can be stored to a form that can release kinetic energy in the motor.
Saving energy is one objective for the project, but the aim is also to boost on-track performance.
There's going to be an advantage ultimately when this system's developed. We've probably got in the region of maybe between 40 to 50 horsepower additional power, and obviously that's going to be an advantage. And I think what we're trying to use it as well is it's a way of educating people to say, look, hybrid technology is not necessarily really slow, really mundane like most people's perceptions is of like milk floats. And we can say, look, these are very, very advanced race cars, race systems, and we can use this in your road car as well.
And as of late, known for the green racing concept.
This is the first ever prototype hybrid. In other words, this car can run on gasoline power or electric power. In fact, it can run on any one of three configurations: gasoline by itself, electric by itself, or the combination thereof. This is brand new technology to the series, and they're learning as they go. Today we're going to see that. If they use it, it'll be great, but if they don't use it, this is something that they're building on. It's the first of its type anywhere.
But you ride on board that Zytec, the hybrid that we were talking about, and obviously running on the petrol power right now, Dorsey, but a lot of gauges up there on that dashboard, a lot of switches.
Right here, Brian, this day glow orange is the hybrid system. These four lights that run along here designate whether it's on or not. The switch right here turns it on. It's off right now because none of the lights are lit presently. So right now they're running without the aid of any electric power.
We know a little bit about the hybrid system, but there are certainly those out there who know much more about it. It is incredibly sophisticated. You think about the Formula One teams that run it, only about half of them can make it work at any time at all. So we went to the experts on sophistication.
We made the decision to do this last April, and we were fully committed to it. Obviously, at that point in time, oil was headed to $140 a barrel. The emphasis on this technology was coming forward. Obviously, since that intervening time, there's been a change in administration. There's been a huge focus now on the electrification of transportation in this country, particularly through the Department of Energy.
Well, this is the first hybrid technology that we've really seen go head-to-head with more conventional racing applications, and it's phenomenal, the achievements that they've made. They are using advanced batteries, lithium-ion batteries, that you'll start to see in a few years in some production class vehicles. And it's something that on the manufacturing, the R&D side, industry's been working on for years. How can we improve the flow of energy in and out of the packs? And to this point in time, the advances haven't been made to meet the goals that were set years ago. And they're starting to make a strong headway towards reaching those goals through this series and through what Corsa and Zytec are doing.
I think once people can see what electricity can do, which this will end up being actually the poster child for it, then I think you'll change people's perception. But over the time, we've been at this now for 13 months. We're still flying parts in today that we're still trying to get put on the car. It's been that long of a development cycle, and there's still a lot of things that have to work. So this is really going to be a huge test weekend for us, more than it will be a competitive weekend.
It's hard to develop while you're racing, but that's exactly what they're doing. You heard him say it's really the battery technology that needs to be developed just as much or more as the systems to charge those batteries, and they're doing a great job at it right now. You couldn't have two better people. Steve Pruitt, the principal there with that team, and you heard from Lee Slezak from the Department of Energy, and Slezak is one smart guy. I'll tell you, especially if you look at his title, I think it's got about 15 words in it. You ride on board right now the 48 of Johnny Mullen. Remember, this is the hybrid vehicle. They may or may not be running that system. Probably not. They didn't think they would in competition, but they did run it throughout practice. That's a developing situation. Steve Pruitt, the principal of that team, said this is akin to putting the monkey in the spaceship back at the beginning of the space program. We've got a long way to go, but look at the power that he has. Gives a little wave to Marino Franchitti and drives by, and that's kind of shocking to see that.
Well, let me explain a little bit about this. This car is only running a 4-liter Zytec power plant. It could be running a 4.5. It has done so before. It's been very successful. It is running all of the hybrid pieces. All the bits are on the car, which means that all the added weight of that hybrid technology is on that car. If it's not being used, it's just extra weight, and it also is extra high weight. So, I mean, it's there if they want to turn it on, but this is something that they're learning as they go. They went with the smaller motor for the very same reason. They want reliability. They need to get this car out here and run.
Pit lane, this is for the driver's eye view. It's incredibly low and close to the ground. You see, now you release the speed lane limiter. You're accelerating out of the pit lane, up into second, third, fourth, fifth gear, using the curb on the right-hand side on a racing line, down into second gear for the Dunlop S. Now, this is a very tricky corner because, as you can see, it's uphill and also the camber of the road falls away from you. Third gear, underneath the bridge, and then down into the actual S's themselves. Fourth and then fifth gear. Braking hard here. The car always wants to keep turning right, but you need to make it turn left. You need to get in there. The car understeers, you brake fourth gear, and then accelerating towards Tête Rouge. Very, very critical corner. Very, very fast entry now. And you've got to make sure that 140 mile an hour, 145 mile an hour exit is critical for your straight line speed at the end of the straight. Now you're on the first part of the Mulsanne. Now you've taken top gear. Now you can relax. Now you can look at the steering wheel. Make sure all of the data is correct. Make sure there's no alarms. Speak to your engineer if you have to. Get some response before stealing yourself, before coming up to the braking point for this first chicane. Braking hard just after the 200 metre board, down into third gear. Now you've been doing 220 miles per hour. You come into this corner and you're actually only doing about 100 in the mid corner. You accelerate hard, again trying to get the maximum exit. Let the car run free, fourth and then fifth gear, coming down towards the second chicane. Another point just to be very careful. Crossing the crown of the road, you have to do it at a certain point, otherwise the car grounds out. If you do that for 24 hours, you'll damage the bottom of it. Here the braking point is tricky in the night because it's just in between two zones. Down into third, the car always understeers here. You never get the front in, you never feel comfortable, but you have to do it precisely and correctly every time. Now we're coming up to the hump. Now this used to be a big jump over where the car would go like, now it's a little bit easier on you. Into the Mulsanne corner. Very difficult corner because suddenly you lose all feeling of efficiency. You're coming from 200 miles an hour down into about 55, 60 miles per hour, and you don't have the sensation of the grip underneath you. Before you accelerate out third, fourth, fifth gear, going through the small kinks down towards Indianapolis. One of my favourite sections on the whole circuit. That is what you see at night. That sun coming into your eyes, going from the contrast of not being able to see into the darkness of the trees. Down into third gear for this left-hander. Now you've came through the previous one at 170 miles per hour. You're trying to stop the car into the left, and then suddenly you come to Arnage. One of the hardest corners on this track because it is so slow, because your brain is going so fast all the other points, and then suddenly you've got to go at 50 miles per hour. Suddenly you've got to be delicate and get a clean exit before accelerating down towards the Porsche curves. Now these are real men's corners. They're very, very fast. In at 200 miles per hour, down a gear, quickly in towards the apex on the right-hand side, flat out on 4th gear, up into 5th. Now we're doing about 180 miles per hour. The road looks very narrow, the Armco barrier's very close, keeping in towards that right-hand white line. Don't touch the grass, you'll be off. Into 5th gear, through the chicane. Now you've only got 2 corners to go, the Ford chicane, and this is a very difficult one. You can gain everything or you can lose everything just by braking too late here. Down to 3rd gear, run the curb on the left, run the curb on the right. Try to keep over to the right to get a good clean exit out of the last one. Hit the curb on the left, hit the curb on the right. Wide open throttle on 3rd gear. 4th, 5th, over the line. That's 3 minutes 23 and over 8.5 miles done.